Hi, it's almost winter, and as the weather worsens, I'm enjoying a nice cup of warm tea. So, at the moment I'm working on this painting, which, as you can see, features a girl sat next to a Celtic cross. The Celtic cross is something that you've always found throughout the United Kingdom. Some of them are over 1,000 years old, and they're fascinating. They're carved with all sorts of symbols which were important to the people who carved them many centuries ago. And so you have this young lady here. She's sat by the cross. She's opened a letter, so who knows what's in the letter. Maybe it's good news, maybe it's bad news. And there's a fox watching over her. I think I like foxes. Something about them I like. They're crafty survivors, adaptable. And you've got the bird of prey as well, which is also watching over her. So this painting was actually painted in gold and open acrylics to begin with, the underpainting, but then I actually finished it off with oils. So the top layer is oils, and so this should be ready by the end of 2024, hopefully. I do tend to take my time painting, but you should see this one on my website at some point. You've probably seen in the media recently that a guy got, I think it was 6 million or something, for a banana strapped to a wall. And I was thinking, and I'm sure many other people were thinking, well, you know, if someone wants to pay 6 million for a banana, that's absolutely great. And one of my artist friends said, I wonder how much that artist would get for a fruit salad, and presumably quite a lot more. Anyway, you know, that's art. Hi. Well, here we are in 2025, and for me, quite an exciting development straight away, because I have a new iPhone. Hi. Well, here I am in the Hornsea gallery. It's a busy, bustling day. I don't know if you can hear the traffic outside, but it's almost spring and the weather is improving tremendously. So we're hoping more people will come in and visit the gallery and buy some of our wonderful works. As you can see, we've got some wonderful stuff by John Sprakes and his sculptor brother, including some books. We've also got these magnificent sculptures, and behind me we have smaller things, smaller craft items and some cards made from artists' paintings and so on. So you know, we're hoping for a good spring, summer, autumn. The world we live in is becoming an increasingly unpredictable place. In the United States, we have pretty unpredictable people in the White House, and we have even more unpredictable people in the Kremlin. And it's looking like 2025, outside of art, could be an interesting year. Well, if you've ever watched any of my previous video diaries, you'll know that I've been suffering from macular degeneration in both eyes for about 3 years now. And the disease is progressing, as it does. However, so far, I can still see well enough to paint. My left eye is not bad. That has dry macular degeneration. But my right eye has wet macular degeneration, which is much more serious. and that is progressing in a worrying way, and indeed the centre of my vision in this eye is starting to grey out. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm having injections to slow it down, but that's about it. So pretty much I just have to hope that fate is kind to me. Anyway, I do intend to continue painting for as long as I possibly can, however long that is. I think it might be another 5 years until my eyesight degenerates to the point where I can't really paint well. That's the situation. One thing I've learned from my involvement in this gallery is my appreciation of sculpture has improved tremendously. As you can see from these two beautiful pieces by an artist called Mark Powers. He makes things out of, in this case it's plywood, which is beautifully worked up into a sculpture, and in this case it's highly polished sandstone, but these are really beautiful works of art, and I think, you know, would make a lovely impact in a discerning home. They are really very well executed. I get the impression that one of our artists, Phil, is a big Bob Dylan fan. He's painted quite a few pictures of Dylan, and also Tom Petty, who of course used to tour with Dylan, and you know, I think Tom Petty's band acted as Dylan's band for a while. And you can see this is a picture of Dylan. It really captures him very well, I think in his middle years, and you know, you tend to look at the eyes, which is a good thing, because every interview I've ever seen with Bob Dylan, his eyes are quite intense. So I think it really captures him well, captures the essence of the Bob Dylan, maybe, I don't know, but maybe around the time of his John Wesley Harding album, though I'm not completely sure about that. But I myself have been a long-standing Dylan fan since I was in my early 20s, so that's a few decades of being a Bob Dylan fan. You know, it's an interesting debate about artificial intelligence and creativity, because as I've said in previous video diaries, I think AI is going to greatly impact creativity and creative people, especially because corporations actually control a lot of the creative output that we all see. Television, music, films, books, a lot of stuff on the internet, it's actually run and controlled by great big corporations. Those big corporations simply want content. They're not that interested in creativity. They're after content. And here's the thing, I don't think they care who generates the content. I don't think they care if it's generated by, you know, computers, or if it's generated by human beings, as long as it's content. And there are enough undiscerning people out there who'll happily consume content, whether it's created by creators, human beings, or whether it's created by AI. So I think, you know, this whole AI boom that you're seeing is going to end tragically, I think, for a lot of people who work in the creative economy, and I think also the thought economy as well. You know, anyone who works in the part of the economy where you use your mind is going to find themselves being challenged by AI that can do their job. Well, here I am at the beautiful settings of Burton Constable Hall in East Yorkshire, where I have a solo exhibition running for a couple of months now. So if you're in the vicinity of East Yorkshire, come along and have a look at my solo exhibition. I've tried to make the exhibition reflective of all the different sides of my art, with all the different kinds of things that I do, and showing my interest in the culture and history of the North East United Kingdom. Well, here I am in the gallery, and as you can see, I have a whole range of works on display, including some new ones that I'm painting especially for the exhibition. One work I'm particularly chuffed with is the Monkeys in the Library, which makes a statement about man's place in the universe and his understanding of it. I've also included some works which feature my interest in architectural features of medieval and Tudor architecture. There are a few works which feature my interest in traditional European spirituality in its many different forms. So, I hope you have a nice spring 2025. I am certainly hoping that my exhibition will be a success, and who knows, I may even sell a few paintings. Well, here we are in the middle of the English spring, and there's really nothing like it. The birds are singing, the trees are rustling, the sun shines gently, not too harshly. It's a wonderful time to be out and to be painting and to just be enjoying the natural beauty of England, filling your reservoir of inspiration. Thinking about it, what is inspiration anyway? Inspiration is when you suddenly feel very positively about something and you want to actually make something, maybe make some kind of creation about it. And it's just a thing that appears. It's usually stirred by something. It might be stirred by something you see that's particularly beautiful, or something that's particularly stirring or whatever. And that's what we call inspiration. Beautiful, aren't they? These are ceramics by Penny de Court, one of the best artists we have in the gallery, and certainly I think it's fair to say the most popular artist in the Hornsea gallery. And her ceramics are very, very distinctive, as you can see. The painting behind me is one I did many years ago of Gorsworth Hall, which is a lovely mansion in Cheshire, England, near Macclesfield. It was actually built in medieval times as a hunting lodge for the Earl of Macclesfield, I think it was. Although to most people it just looks like a mansion. Anyway, it's lived in now as a house, and it's open to the public, and as you can see it has these distinctive timber framed patterns that you find with houses of that period of time. It's very beautiful, and the gardens are lovely as well. It's well worth a visit if you're ever in Cheshire. Most of the artists at the Hornsea Gallery do a stint. It's artists' cooperative gallery really, and we managed to keep the lights on through sales of paintings, ceramics, and various gifts and so on. So here I am doing my usual weekly stint. It's very quiet actually at the moment, but you know, we are getting occasional visitors, and they are buying art.
Oh, look at this.
Well, here I am in the cloud forests of northern Ecuador, and if you're wondering what this racket is, it's the crickets and a few of the birds, but this is absolutely incredible, it really is. I've never experienced anything like this before. Something that you wouldn't find in Europe. You know, all of these incredible plants, there's orchids, giant bamboos, fern trees, all kinds of things. It really is absolutely incredible, and something that's worth having a look at, you know, if you can. Well, here I am enjoying the hustle and bustle of Santa Cruz Island in Ecuador. Fascinating and quite lively place. A little bit like a British seaside resort, without the fish and chips and the candy floss. Instead they have shrimps and tuna steaks. There are the occasional iguanas running about the place, and half the population seems to run around on motorcycles. Apart from that, it's not too different from the UK. The other thing, of course, as you can see in the background, are all of the palm trees, which is a nice touch. The thing I'm not so keen on are the mosquitoes, but hey, you can't have everything, right? Speaking as a creative guy, I often wonder what's the purpose of life, and it seems to me the purpose of life is to fulfill yourself and enjoy yourself, and as much as you possibly can to help others to do the same. You know, one thing that I can clearly see now, having been to Galapagos, is how the biggest problem facing nature is the sheer number of human beings and how they all expect to have a high standard of living. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind other people enjoying a high standard of living, but I'm just saying, when billions and billions of us want to enjoy that standard of living, then it makes it difficult for nature. There's no room for nature. How long Galapagos can survive as the paradise it is, I don't know. The guys behind me and to the side of me building now, building more spas, more hotels, more cafes, and all this human activity and increasing human numbers put pressure on this delicate environment. And so with the best will in the world, you wonder what its future is, especially now that they've realised absolutely that they can make a lot of money out of their natural heritage. But so the more tourists, the more money. Is that going to affect Galapagos going forward? I think it probably is, although of course there's an irony there, because I am myself one of the tourists streaming into Galapagos. But let's hope that this wonderful natural reserve can continue to exist and enthrall future generations. Well, here I am at the Greenbelt Festival 2025. I think it's my 12th Greenbelt, so I'm quite used to it now. Greenbelt is about faith, creation and nature. I'm not the greatest myself when it comes to faith and belief, but I'll go along with the rest of it. Act and create. There is a really nice buzz at this festival, a buzz of humanity, love of one's fellows, community, and a general horror at some of the things that are happening in the world right now, over which we have little control. Apparently this is the Greenbelt seat where you can pick up the telephone down here and call someone. I don't know who you're talking to, the man above or the organisers. But this is how you do it.
But yeah, I also feel like long distance is only is best done if you've got a solid thing.
Greenbelt is divided up into venues. This one's called the Hot House. Well, behind me is the Gaza Lighthouse. Every festival should
Yeah,
have
make some
one.
noise, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. Just won't let me in. I'm driving in the desert with a bottle of rye. Take my hand and let me see. Scratch that itch, feel like a knife. It's my skin, I bleed. To lift me up and bring me back to life. All I need is Thank you very, very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. Are you guys having a good time? What are we doing, James Green? I'm telling you. I'm lost in it. Oh, already? So, I like to say that I will be with nothing without my friends that you can see here with me on stage today. Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. Hope you don't mind if I sing out of key. I get by with a little help from my friend. Oh, I try with a little help from my friend. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friend.
Well, here I am on the second day of Greenbelt, and it's a Saturday, so it's quite lively. I've listened to some good talks about the place of women in Christianity and how that's being threatened, and also a really good talk between Brian Eno and a lady called, I think she was called Katie Slade, and they were talking about art and religion and how the two interact, and I think the word God-shaped hole was used, which is something that many of us, I think, can relate to, certainly me, but it certainly was an interesting talk and quite enriching. I always find discussions which feature Brian Eno to be interesting and full of fascinating ideas, so well worthwhile. You can see that the festival is quite lively, with people enjoying themselves, coming and going, having food and going to bookshops, listening to music, listening to discussions. It really is quite a lively scene. I just spent a typical afternoon at Greenbelt. First of all, a talk about the history of British broadcasting, starting with radio and how it was full of Christian content, and then a folk music type event talking about slavery and the abolition of slavery. I didn't know that the British government had borrowed £20 million in 1833 to compensate slave traders. Apparently that's equivalent to over £2 trillion today, which is round about half the size of the entire British economy. So that's a colossal sum of money was paid to compensate slave traders, and apparently we only finished paying that loan off in something like, I think it was 2015 or 2016. Isn't that amazing? I didn't know that. It was also interesting that I didn't know that Lord Reith, the first CEO or whatever of the BBC, was a pastor's son, and he made sure that the BBC's early programmes were full of what he considered to be good moral content for the masses. Interesting stuff that you only learn at Greenbelt. Well, here I am enjoying the dying hours of the Greenbelt Festival, and I've heard an awful lot of interesting ideas. I got to meet Brian Eno. I got to hear Jeremy Corbyn talking about his new Your Party, which might turn out to be a big thing in British politics, who knows. And I just generally heard a lot of ideas about where we are going, where we're not going, where we should be going, and where everybody wants us to go. And an awful lot of just good ideas, a few dubious ones, and it's nice to see that people can come together and discuss the big issues of the day. Actually, I'm a middle of the road kind of a guy, and I heard an awful lot of criticism of financiers. So I don't know, how the global finance system works, and if financiers are the root of all evil, or if they're just trying to move capital around so that people can prosper and people can work and people can make things. Who knows? I don't really know enough about business and finance to be able to make any sort of definitive conclusion about these things. Well, here I am on the first day of autumn 2025. I do really enjoy autumn, because this 2025 summer was a bit hot and a bit dry, and a lot of people in the UK were getting fed up with it because we're not used to that kind of weather. It's climate change weather. And now here we are in the third week of September, and it's lovely and cool. It's starting to get dark quite early. It's about 7 o'clock evening, and I'm enjoying it. I do like the early autumn and the late spring. They're probably my favourite seasons.